This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're literally out in the middle of nowhere.
He's the only geezer that hasn't got a sat nav yet, do you know that? You've got to put the 80 cents away. He's like driving around the green and all that.
We found you though, we found you.
Yeah, found you out in the woods somewhere, didn't
This
we?
is out in the middle of nowhere though.
Hey, in the middle, it's Hertfordshire. I'm not going to say where we are in Hertfordshire.
Still out in the
we're
middle of
Hertfordshire.
nowhere.
Well, yeah, it's rural, isn't it? It's not London. There's no lights there.
Found KUGAN in the woods, walking about in the woods. What's he doing up
Easy,
there
I
anyway?
haven't left yet. For people that don't know who these two gentlemen are, to my left I have former European champion Spencer Oliver.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
And
Yeah, and the guy that used to beat him up in sparring, Mr. Jake Woods.
That's it.
and yes, soap legend Jake Wood, amongst other
I'll say that.
strings to your bow.
I'll say that.
You didn't call me a legend.
I called you a former European champion.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not
All
bad.
right.
Settle for that.
All right.
Yeah, people can just kind of get a little snippet of the booth behind you, where all the magic happens, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're so vague, you've got a poster up in the booth. Is that to remind what exactly?
No, we just like the poster.
Oh, fair enough.
No, when you do it, because we do a little GoPro,
Yeah.
don't we? So
Yeah.
then it shows what,
Oh,
in the background
okay,
where
yes.
you are.
Fair
what,
enough.
What we're doing. So.
And we like the poster.
Okay.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I do, yeah. You need to update it now, though, I think.
No, I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think Jake
You know,
should be
like-
on top.
Have you heard that saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it?
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, I can't believe how many episodes you guys have done in a...
Yeah, we don't.
I don't say a short space of time, and
it's
it's a
50
weekly
tonight.
thing, but...
Yeah, it's the 50th one tonight, and it is in a short space of time. We've been going, but like 9 or 10 months or
Since
something?
January, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, do you know what? We didn't really know what we was doing when we started, if we was honest. So, Alex, our agent Alex Segal, put it to us, and Ross Segal, didn't they? Put it to us about doing a podcast. We hadn't even listened to a podcast, so we didn't know really what it was all about. And we sort of thought, yeah, it'll be a bit of fun. We'll go for it, see how it all goes. And we started off, and we just had some mad guests straight away, didn't we? We started off with, who did we start off with? Tyson Fury or someone?
Bellew, wasn't it?
Oh,
When
Bellew.
he was on holiday, wasn't he?
Yeah.
In,
Yeah, he was at
Universal.
Universal Studios, that's right. He was in the queue for the Hulk. And
But we kept him going for far too long.
Yeah.
His missus started screaming at him at the end. You can hear her if you go back and listen, you can still hear it. Yeah?
Tony!
Hang on, so one more question, mate. One more question.
Yeah, bless him. And he stayed on for like an hour and a half, and he was in the queue for the Hulk. Then we done Fury in our second one, didn't we?
Yeah.
And he was in like Marbella or somewhere, so we was getting some like bad reception out there, and yeah, we just seen everyone we was trying first. And then we done Ray Winston after that, and he was in
up-
Sicily when he up
I remember
and
we tried
mountain.
for about 4 days and we get hold of him because Sicily's got really bad reception.
Yeah.
And then we got hold of him and he was up a mountain with a shotgun. So we got a shotgun for Ray. He went, oh, you just never know.
You never know out here. It's so dodgy places. So, yeah, it was funny. So yeah, and it just went on from there, mate. It just got better and better and better, and then we had Gary Lineker on, and when just everyone who's anyone in the sport of boxing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, so mate, it's been like if you look back over the 50 eps we've done, there's some good guests on there. Like for a podcast that's been only around for 10 months, I think we've done all right.
Yeah, we done well.
We've done all right. I mean, it is a slog 'cause we're doing one episode every week.
And it seems like it comes around like it don't seem like a week to me. It's like it seems like I'm just travelling over here in this rural place all the time. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
No.
It's got. I mean, it's a real success. If I'm honest, we just smashed the charts. We're hitting top of the charts all the time, and we're having fun with it. We're having a good laugh with it. And I think the secret recipe that we've got is because we chat to people and they know who we are, and vice versa. We get some really good content off them because we do it over the phone, which we think is the right way of doing it. Because when you do it over the phone, there's not a camera in your face. I think they're more relaxed, didn't they?
Yeah, we spoke about that, and we like why the content is so good. Yeah, we think it's because people were like at home in their pajamas,
Yeah,
just relaxing. Yeah,
yeah.
maybe not in their pajamas, but
Might not be.
you know what I mean. They're in a sort of safe environment. You've just got two geezers down the phone, so it's
Yeah, and
it seems to work well.
Yeah, it does work well. It's sort of very relaxed. Say what you want on there, and yeah, I think that's the key to the success of what we're doing.
Yeah, it's all good.
Did you forget I was here for a moment then?
No.
That was like 6 minutes. I didn't say a word.
That's what we like on the podcast. We listen to the podcast. That's what you like. And you know, anyway, KUGAN, he's like meant to have this little 15-minute segment. He's on there like an hour and a half.
True,
like, you know
true,
what I mean?
actually true.
He talks more than us.
I think one of the best things about the podcast is that you're not just like fixated on just interviewing people in boxing. Like I said, you've had like Ray Winston, Gary Lineker, and I think that kind of diversity into getting people of high profile in their different fields talking about boxing as well is as interesting, if not sometimes more interesting than hearing about actual people in boxing.
Well, I think that if you everyone seems to, we always said when we was doing the podcast that we was going to use boxing as the umbrella, because everybody seems to have had some involvement in boxing at what, whether like Lineker used to be a mate of Chris Eubanks when he boxed Michael Watson, wasn't it? And so that was his story, and then we just opened up about that. Ray Winston boxed, he had 80 odd fights for Repton. A lot of people didn't know that, so that was a story there. We even had Bugsy Malone on, who's this grime artist now that's flying at the moment, and
boxing saved it.
Yeah, boxing saved him, and the story. So everybody seems to have this link with boxing somewhere, and I think that's what works for us. That we didn't want to be doing like a toe-to-toe type thing or a Radio 5 thing where it was just purely boxing and it was all just sort of facts and figures and whatnot. We just wanted it to be more relaxed, didn't we? And just getting to know people and boxing obviously being the main topic.
I think you're right. I think that's one of the strengths of the main strength of the podcast is what you said. Like when we just before we started doing the podcast, we looked at all the other podcasts that are out, all the other boxing podcasts, and they're great, but no one was doing what we set out to do, which was to get people's stories in and around that world. You know what I mean? The Cutsmen, the doctors, the journey. Like Christian Lake, we had him on. He had 300 fights, lost 279 of them. And no one's given these characters the space to tell their story really, so I suppose that was what we set out to do. One of my favourite ones was Ant Middleton, what we done last week. Amazing story, like SAS geezer. That was a good episode, wasn't it?
That was a powerful episode, yeah. So basically, and just sort of worked his way through the ranks from just, saying I was going to the army when he was 16, worked his way through the ranks, become a top guy in the SAS. An amazing story after it. Obviously done a bit of boxing in the SS and all that, but if you're looking for some like mindset and what's the word I'm looking for, just changing your perspective on life and taking the positives from the negatives and whatnot. This guy was just like incredible. Honestly, I felt like we interviewed him for an hour and I felt like Superman afterwards. I thought, do you know what I mean? I just totally changed my perspective on life. It's just an incredible story, and that's what we find fascinating about the podcast. Just getting to know the people. People don't know. Like when we interview the boxers as well, we like to go down the story. Yeah, listen, that's great. You're Callum Smith, the world super middleweight champion, but what's your story? Where do you come from? What you're all about? Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what people don't hear, because they only hear about him talking about his next fight coming up or whatever, and we like to go through the layers a little bit more and let people get to know the person.
I think it adds to the enjoyment of the sport as well. Like, since I've known Spencer, I just got to know a few boxers over the time, and just personally I found that like once you get to know a boxer like personally, when you watch him fight, you're that much more involved in the fight. I just think it adds to the enjoyment of the sport. If you listen to our podcast and you like hear about how they got into boxing, their family, if you listen to Tony Bellew when he's with his kids at Universal and all that, I think next time you see him fight, you'll have that in mind. You'll be, oh yeah, I remember I heard that geezer talking on there, and he was so down to earth, and
you feel emotionally connected a little bit, don't you? It's do you know what I mean? Because you feel like you know that person a little bit more. And I think that's
when they're not in professional mode, when they're not out selling a fight and all that. So to me as well, that's important. I think, and that's an element of the sport that sort of I think it heightens the enjoyment of the sport. Certainly for me. So so I think we're doing that as well.
Because I remember when you first announced the podcast, I know obviously where you kind of, your life has been in boxing and you're coming from a kind of completely different field. People were I saw a little bit of criticism saying, why is Jake Wood kind of doing a podcast with Spencer Oliver? But there's no rules to podcasts. No,
but I think the beauty of it was, and this is where, because sort of knew you're going to get that sort of criticism because what we wanted.
I still get it now.
But what we wanted to achieve was that listen, it's not about the hardcore boxing fan. This podcast, it's not what we're trying to achieve. We never set out to do that. And it was a whole boxing man and boxing fan type thing, and we amalgamated together to give both sides of the story. And I think that was part of it. And Jake knows as much about boxing as anyone. He watches boxing, follows boxing. So why can't he talk about it? Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's one of those. I think that's exactly what we set out to do, though, wasn't it? It's like and so we said, if you're looking for, facts and figures and whatnot, then you're listening to the wrong podcast.
Yeah, but I totally understand the criticism. It's like I think you get known for doing one thing, and then people are like, yeah, what the fuck is he talking about? How come he ain't on EastEnders? What's he doing?
Yeah,
it's like you ain't got a life away from being Max Brannan, which I clearly have. You know what I mean? So and my love of sport, boxing, and anyone who listens to podcasts know like my love of the sport, and that's a massive part of my life. So this is something else. But I suppose if people don't know and they see you, like, what the hell was that?
Do you know what? You still get it now, though, don't you? Like we've done. I'd see one we've done Cole Frotch. I don't even know if I told you this. We've done Cole Frotch, who was amazing as well, and he gives a brilliant insight into the Cole Frotch, the guy, where he come from, which really was powerful, wasn't it? It was brilliant. But do you know what happened to me when I went up to Manchester to the Tony Bellew thing?
Yeah.
He says to me, "You didn't tell me that was Max Brannan." I didn't realise until after I'd done it, because he said I wanted to ask him so much more about it. But it was just like, it was really... Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's like, it's just one of those, it's just one of those mad things. But I think what we're doing is working really well.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest compliment I got was last week. Was out shopping with the wife and the kids, and his geezer come out and he went, "I've never seen one episode of EastEnders, but I love your podcast, mate."
I saw that.
He went, "I ain't got a clue what else you do." He said, "I don't really know who you are and all that." He said, "But I just love you."
But that is probably, for what you're doing, the best compliment that someone could have paid you.
I said, "Oh, wicked, mate." Yeah,
you got a few of those actually this week as well. Or I see a few. Don't know if you've seen them. We got a few tweets out there as well this week saying the same thing. I don't know what the question was that we'd asked. Whatever, but they were saying, I think someone might have criticised you or saying, they said, "Well, I don't know Max Brannan from EastEnders, but I love what he's doing on the podcast." Yeah, we're the same thing. Yeah. So I think it's
in fact that's better anyway. You don't need to watch EastEnders to listen to the podcast. You know what I mean? So it's I think that's great. If the podcast stands alone, it's like
it'd be the equivalent if you stuck him in an episode of EastEnders
in the Vic.
And people
go, "You're brilliant in that. I don't know what boxing you've done."
We saw you in one episode of EastEnders. I don't know what your boxing career is, but you were great in that one episode.
Stick you on the market.
Yeah, the same thing.
So, taking it to the next level now.
Yeah.
You announced how many city tour?
We're doing a 16 cities, aren't we?
16 dates, starting January the 12th
we start.
We're doing 19th, is it?
Yeah, we do a little warm-up on the 12th. We do a little warm-up one on the 12th just to get all the fuck-ups out of the way. We do that, and then we start on the 19th through to the 26th of February.
I think the last one, Clapham Grand, is it?
Yeah. So
they're not massive venues. They're like 500-600 seats.
Should we read out the dates?
It's a little dip into sort of see what's out there.
Yeah, so we start on the 19th at High Wycombe, and then we go 22nd at Salford, 25th at Hertford, 26th at Melton, 29th at Liverpool, 30th at Sheffield. That's in January. February we start the 6th in Birmingham, 7th Kettering, 8th Portsmouth, 9th Exmouth, Leeds. That's a busy month. 19th Whitley Bay, 21st Swindon, and 26th London Clapham Grand. So they're the dates, mate, and can't wait.
I mean, it's a live version of what we're doing anyway with the podcast. So that'd be Q&As and all that. But I think what's exciting for me is the guests that we've announced like in the last couple of days. Salford, we've got
Jamie Moore. Yeah,
we've had on the podcast. Who's just won trainer of the year,
and his story's incredible as well. And you know the story, Coog, saying where he come from, building up to what he done with his career, unbelievable career, fights of the year and whatnot. Then getting shot, coming back from that, was incredible, and now become trainer of the year. Yeah, so he's a brilliant one. Callum Smith.
That'll be just great to Callum Smith in Liverpool.
Matt Macklins in Birmingham. Who else have we got tied down?
So Hartford is Darren Barker, Kevin Mitchell.
Yeah.
All fucking good. We got Ritson, Whitley Bay.
Oh yeah, Ritson's at Whitley Bay. And I think that's who we've got tied down so far. We're pushing Carl Froch from Melton. I've been texting him, and he didn't get back to me. I thought, he's being rude. He's starting to borderline be rude now. So I texted him, "You're not speaking to me, mate." And he went, "No, I'm in the Bahamas." I was like, "Oh, sorry, mate." Yeah, but he's going to come back to us for that date. So if you do watch this, Cole, putting you under a bit of pressure.
Got Adam Smith, London.
Donald
McRae wants to come on. He's an amazing writer. Donald, he probably wrote one of my favourite books about boxing, The Dark Trade. It was about 10 years ago or something. And he did a podcast. He did one of the podcasts. He's fucking very interesting. Interesting guy. So he wants to come and do one. So yeah.
Yeah, we just
You're going to come, Coog, as well, aren't you?
You're doing one in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, I thought you was on that old Sri Lankan sat-nav when you come here, mate. I don't know where you was going.
All right, nothing wrong with Sri Lankan sat-navs.
Yeah, but you'll be joining us in a couple, won't you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'll come to wherever I'm not filming. I'll have a little
have a little nose,
Oh, I can't do that one. I don't know about 22nd either. Do you know what? Yeah. I reckon I'll come to quite a few of these.
Yeah, perfect. There you
Have I got to buy a ticket?
Another string to our bow. No, you'll be on the stage, mate, chatting.
Have I got to buy a ticket?
Yeah.
All right, well, listen, we've got that to look forward to, and we'll put details of all these dates in this video so people can obviously know exactly where to go, etc., etc.
Can I tell you where to get the tickets from?
You can tell us,
poundforpoundlive.com.
Nice.
That's poundforpoundlive.com. Last time, poundforpoundlive.com. Anyway, yeah, go on.
You want to say it once more?
poundforpoundlive.com.
Okay. You should do it so it's so annoying that people don't forget it. That's it.
I've just been annoying. I've done it.
Let me, before you go, just get your thoughts on some stuff coming up.
Sure.
Obviously, the big one coming up 1st of December in LA. Can Tyson Fury pull it off? Spencer?
I'm not sure he can.
Ooh.
I'm not sure he can, mate. I'm just going. Listen, I'd love him to.
It's not what you were saying, like 2 weeks ago. Oh, maybe.
No, but it's one of those ones, isn't it? It is one of those ones.
It's too soon.
Yeah, that's what I'm just going with. I think it might be just too soon. I think that, you're not really going to know that one till the first bell goes. But I just think Fury might out hustle him for a few rounds. But I think that Wilder will eventually catch up with him. I'm not sure that Fury will have the power to keep him off. I hope he proves me wrong, but I'm not sure that he will.
Controversial.
Jake?
I reckon Fury will. I think he does him. I think he fights southpaw. I think he's been sparring southpaw. Fury, and I think the last time Wilder fought a southpaw, I can't remember the guy's name. It was about 1.5 2 years ago. Wilder came through it, but he fucking struggled. And I think Tyson will be too cute. I think it is at least 2 fights too soon.
Yeah.
But I think if he comes through it, it'll make it all the more of an incredible achievement if he comes through.
I think it'd be one of the. Yeah, I think if he does pull it off, everyone wants him to win. He's a massive character for the sport. We pray that he does, but if he does, it's going to be one of the biggest.
I think he will. I think even if he catches a hit, even if he catches a right hand, I think he'll take it. I think he'll have to come. There'll be at least 1 or 2 rounds when Wilder's going to put it on him for sure. But I reckon, I reckon Tyson's going to time up. I reckon Tyson will do it.
There you go.
And obviously interesting, he's added Freddie Roach to the team. He's going to be in the corner with him.
Yeah.
You can't kind of buy that kind of experience that Roach will offer.
Yeah, that could be a massive plus for him. Fury, if I'm honest. Look,
I think that's
a great shout. And tactically, Freddie Roach is as good as anyone out there. And I think that, if Fury does win, I think that he's going to play a big part in that as well, Roach. And he's a good addition the Fury camp, definitely.
Just sticking with the heavyweight scene, obviously on the 22nd of December, it's back on the rematch. The first fight was, well, quite compelling, entertaining and brutal as ever between Chisora and Whyte. They go at it again. Same result, or are we going...
For me, same result.
Same result.
I think it'd be a great fight again.
Yeah.
It's a really good fight. But I think Dillian comes through.
Yeah, I think
Dillian's made so many improvements since he last fought him. I think he's improved every fight. Chisora came through versus Takam, but he was sort of fucking up against it, wasn't he? It was an exciting fight.
Chisora's as tough as any heavyweight out there, without a doubt. And I think you're right, Jake. I think that the problem we got now is I think they'll take off from where they left off, and I think it'll be a blinding fight. But I think that the same. I think Dillian might have just improved that bit more. I think that Dillian might just have the edge in that. It's going to be a tough fight, that one. It's going to be a tough fight.
It's a risky fight as well, though, for Dillian.
Oh, it's a massively risky fight. Like, to take on someone like Chisora, especially with Derek, like, he knows that it's last chance saloon. Well, mind you, we've been saying that because he's such an entertainer, always puts up such a good fight, he always seems to get another bite of the cherry. But I think really, if he's looking to crack the big time again, Derek, he needs a victory here, and I think that's going to push him even more. Teaming up with David Haye.
That's a weird hookup though, isn't it, with David Haye? I can't quite get my head around it.
Yeah, it is a weird hookup. But yeah, it is a weird hookup, but it might be a good one for him. I think it might be a good one for him at this stage of his career.
Buster's just brought us some chips. Thank you.
Thanks, Buster.
My son just brought me some chips.
Nice. Thanks, man. Yeah.
There we go.
So I think, it could be, I think that might be a good thing for Derek. I think that David knows the game inside out, and technically he's brilliant as well. And he might add something to Derek's game, so we might see something different. That's an interesting one, that, because with them two, you never really quite know who's going to win the fight. Using my head, I'd probably, like most people, lean towards Dillian to start favourite. But you never know with old Del Boy.
What do you reckon, buddy?
You never know. What do you reckon?
Taking my nose up.
Yeah, interesting.
Can we see the winner of this fight definitely potentially be in the running, obviously, for Anthony Joshua in April if they can't make the Wilder fight? I think that's the most logical thing that will happen.
I think, I think that's definitely be the case. I think the winner, if the Wilder fight's not made, which I don't think it will, I think that's the obvious choice.
But if Chisora beats Dillian Whyte, Chisora AJ is not a really fight. It's not a fight that I really would want to see, to be honest with you.
No, but I think the public would. I think
if he knocks Dillian Whyte out, if it's a convincing win from Chisora, I think they have to put him in the running for that.
Yeah.
I think it's an obvious fight, if I'm honest. I think the winner is an obvious fight. I do. I think that, and I'll tell you why.
Do you think Dillian's already lined up for AJ anyway?
I think that he's definitely number one choice after Wilder, without a doubt, because it just makes total sense. The last fight was brilliant. He rocked AJ in the second. AJ comes back. AJ knocks him out. Was it the 7th round? Whatever, but a really good fight. Dillian was inexperienced and he's improved a lot. So I think he brings a lot to the table. It's a dangerous fight for AJ. But I think if Del Boy wins, then I think on the back of his brilliant career, he deserves the shot and Eddie will give him the shot. That's what I think. I think that's, and the public love Del as well. Yeah. It's value for money.
Oh, listen, when he fought Takam, the public's reaction was fucking off the scale.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because he's become a people's champion in a way, Derek, and he's like people's warm to him.
Yeah, he wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's
and he's like you saw this character that done stupid things in the past and behaved stupidly or whatever, but like go through all the lads, and we know him like on a personal level. I've known him since he started boxing, Derek, and actually he's like...
We had him on the podcast, didn't we?
Yeah, he's
like the funniest one. He just hung up, didn't he?
Big old cuddly teddy bear, that's all he is. It's just a big cuddly teddy bear, nothing else.
He said, Derek, what are you up to? What are you doing? He went, I'm just watching the Kardashians.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
And you know that's what he was doing as well.
And then he said something like, I should be watching Rocky or something like that, didn't he? Do you remember? But he was brilliant, man. Guy. He's such a lovely guy, yeah. And Yeah, I think if he wins a fight, he deserves a shot at AJ. I think the winner does. Yeah.
I mean, it's also on that night is Josh Warrington, Carl Frampton, isn't it? So you've got 2 pay-per-views on one
Which
night.
is a pain for everyone, but yeah.
Yeah, it is a pain for everyone, more so for you, but it's a pain for everyone. But
I'll just end up paying for both of them.
I think they will, because I think Warrington and Frampton's a brilliant fight, a great fight. I just think that they've done. It's just a shame that it's gone head to head with Whyte and Chisora, because
that's not happened too many times over the years, is it? To be fair.
No, Eddie's stuck that old date up there, and I think that's going to definitely affect the pay-per-view sales of Warrington and Frampton, because
it's going to affect both, to be fair, isn't it? Because
it is.
When you give
it's
me
a shame.
choice. Yeah,
it's a shame that they're both going up against each other, because 2 great fights.
Yeah, they are great fights.
One more fight we want to see next year. If it doesn't happen, it's getting a little bit. Well, the talk of it's getting boring. Brook-Khan. We've been speaking about it for so long. If it's got to happen for the early part of next year, I think it looks like it will.
Interestingly, I'd done a little bit of work with Amir Khan up in Manchester. So I spent a bit of time with him, 15, 20 minutes chatting. And he is so up for the fight now. It's unreal. I've never heard him speak like that before, because I think that Kell Brook's always wanted the fight. Kell was pushing it. Amir was chasing other avenues, looking for the bigger fights. He wanted the bigger fights. I don't think them fights are now materialising. And Amir Khan says, yeah, let's get it on. He didn't even want Kell to have this warm-up fight on the 8th in case anything happened. He said, look, I want to make it now. So I think they're at the stage of their careers. Because I said to Amir, look, you're both on parallels at the moment on where you are.
Fight, money-wise for both of them.
Yeah, money-wise. But I think just where they're at in their careers as well. They're both at that stage where they both, it makes total sense. And speaking to Amir last weekend, the fight's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. So, yeah, and it's a fight we've wanted for what? How long? 5 years or so now?
Too long. It's one of those, isn't it? It's like a fight that should have happened 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. But, yeah, it'll still be interesting to see. But they're probably past their prime, aren't they, those two?
Should have happened really 3 years ago.
Yeah, should have happened 3 years ago. But still a great fight, because I think that they've both had a few miles on the clock now, and they've both had a bit of wear and tear on the clock now. But that's what makes it still, because I think they're both still at that level where they might not be maybe as good as they was 3 years ago, but I think they're both at the same level. Yeah, same level. So I think it still makes for a great fight, man. That's for me a mouth-watering fight, because another one of those you don't really know what's going to happen. We've all do you go for Khan's speed and movement? Do you Kell Brook's power? It's an interesting fight, man.
Yeah, we don't really know where Khan is at, really. And also, Kell, you don't really know
where Kell is either.
Yeah, it's like fucking.
So yeah,
why not chuck him in and see what happens? Could be quite good.
Great fight.
Certainly hope it happens.
Yeah.
What was the site called again?
poundforpoundlive.com.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. We can end it on that.
Well, listen, I'll tell you what, if you go on poundforpoundlive.com and buy your tickets to any one of the days we just mentioned, you'll see us being hilariously funny, putting people up in the crowd, getting KUGAN on the pads. Who wants to see KUGAN on the pads? Let's make it happen.
I don't think I want to see KUGAN on the pads.
I do, actually, because I think you're a potential Boxing with the Stars candidate. And I'm only going to find that out when I take you on the pads on the tour. There you go.
You got to pay me for that.
No problem.
He's one. You got to pay me for that. All right. Spencer, Jake, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. Best of luck with the tour, which starts obviously in January, and your remaining, not shows just for the year, but in general.
Yeah, we're not going away anyway, mate.
Just going to be there every week.
It's growing.
Foreseeable, so we're still enjoying doing it. So we're not going to.
Yeah, can't wait.
No worries.
Cheers.